Hello, welcome back. Tina O here from Tina O Life on 25 Nights to Close 50 it's day 11, night 11. So that puts me 14 sleeps away from turning 51. And if you listen to the previous night 10, you'll hear about how 51, what do you mean 51? I didn't even think about 51. There's a 51. I thought 50 was it. Doesn't it stop at 50? And I did a whole piece on story loops, closing story loops. Thanks for being here. If you are new to me, I am a core story specialist. I'm a listener. I'm a story keeper, a story coach. I walk alongside people who feel called to do something in the world and they feel compelled to do it, not from up here, but in that really vulnerable place where people are going to think they're crazy if they say, yeah, I've signed up to do this big work in the world. That's usually when my phone rings, when honestly, it's when they go exactly what I just said. They're going to think I'm nuts if they as in you are going to think I'm nuts if I do this thing. And so that's what I do. And so this tonight is night 11 of me unpacking my 50th year in the way that I do story. And the way that I do story is we are given clues in the great mystery that is our life. I don't prescribe to the idea that life is a thriller or a rom-com or sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. I prescribe to the idea that our life is a mystery. And the beautiful thing about a mystery, when you look at the genre of mysteries in terms of story, mysteries have this thing. They hold our attention. They grip us. A great mystery will use all parts of us. It'll use our brain because we're trying to figure shit out. It'll use our heart because we care about the solution or we care about what's happened that caused the mystery. It uses our body because there's some kind of adrenaline in it because we're in the mystery. You can't be outside a mystery. A great mystery has got you in it. The other piece about a mystery is that when you get to the end of the mystery and the thing that was always there, the answer that was always there is like a duh, oh my God, of course, right? So the way that I approach story, the way that I approach someone's calling or I don't like to use that word because sometimes people connect that to religion and it doesn't have to be. The piece about the reason why I think calling is used in religion is because it feels like you've been called from something or somewhere bigger than this plane, than this physical body, than this space that we know. There's something bigger here that calls us. I do prescribe to that. So as we follow this call in our life, a time will come where we will look back as we are dying, if we're conscious, and I'm making this up, I'm not dead, I haven't died, I don't know. But I like to think that just as there are times at different milestones in our life where we can look back and go, well, oh my God, duh, of course. Why didn't I see that? This plus this equals that. And it's not like it's logical. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 4 = 8. Of course it does. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's the life logic. Life logic isn't like math, says me. Maybe it is like math for those of you who are in sacred geometry. I don't know. But all right. So all of this thing about the mystery is because just as there are moments in our life where we look back and we go, oh my God, of course, 2 + 5 = 12. Of course. Why didn't I see that before? That there are clues that we get along the way. And so my 25 nights to close 50 is a whole bunch of clues of my 50th year. So one of the big clues that popped in for me this year is kind of a simple one. I've had lots of deep ones in the first, 11 nights. Some of them aren't that deep, but this one's ridiculously simple. And it's just like, why the hell didn't you see this sooner? And it's just about the rhythm of an athlete. And there's so much we can learn from the rhythm of an athlete. I am someone who has built a pattern of long distance running. I've also built a pattern of sprinting to the finish line. Rinse, repeat. Long distance running, sprint to the finish line. Long distance running, sprint to the finish line. What you don't hear in this rhythm is train for the long distance run, consciously begin with adrenaline, with conviction, the long distance run, sprint to the finish line, rest after the finish line. All right, consciously close the race, rest, restore, repair. And it might be rest, repair, restore. Not sure. No. See how many steps were in that? What did I say? I said train, consciously start, long distance run. I'm on 3. Long distance run, sprint to the finish line, consciously close, rest, repair, restore. 8 steps. Begin again. Right? 8 steps. 8 steps for an athlete. You know what I did? 2 steps. Long distance run, sprint to the finish line, repeat. Long distance run, sprint to the finish line, repeat. And then you know what? I even had some ego about it. I didn't have some. I had a hell of a lot of ego about it. Not I'm better than you. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Not better than you, but better than those who can't keep up. But mostly, I mean, there's the ego piece. That's an easy learn to go, okay, well, that's easy. That's just how I keep people away from me. Okay, that's easy. But that's not the big aha. The big aha was that I need it, was that my body needs all 8 of those steps, that I live in a body. About 5 years ago, pre-cancer, I had tonsil cancer. Pre-diagnosis, I did some food work with a holistic food consultant and life coach, Miel Bernstein. And because this one day I was standing in my kitchen and I just got, nothing happened, but I felt like I just got kicked in the stomach. And I stood at a big kitchen island. I stood at the island. I put my hands down on the kitchen island and I was like, oh my God, I can't go on like this anymore. And I grabbed my phone and I sent Mia the text and I said, I need you. And I don't know why. So of course she called right away, which is what she does. And we ended up working through some food stuff with me. And I had to do this food diary. So I did the food diary and I hate being told what to do. I'm like a child. Not only do I hate being told what to do, I hate having to do the things that I've said that I'm going to do because I told them I would do it. I hate the have to thing. And I know I never have to, but of course I have to because I'm the one that wants to. Like I even fight with myself on that shit. So I did the food diary thing. I sent it to her and then we have to do the call. And I say have to do the call because it's the results and I want this. And so she says to me, wow, you, what's the deal with cream? And I'm like, cream? Oh, I know I shouldn't eat that much cream and I shouldn't, la, 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 la. And she said, well, what's your story about cream? I'm like, well, I just know our bodies aren't supposed to have that much dairy, right? I mean, everything you read, you're not supposed to have that much dairy. And she said, well, how do you feel in your body after you eat or have creamy food? I said, I actually I feel comforted and I feel nourished. And she's like, okay, so right now, maybe that's what you need. Maybe that will always be what you need. Is it giving you indigestion? No. Is it making you sick? No. Are you like packing on pounds that are making you ill? No. Okay. So maybe you don't have an issue with cream. But the whole thing was, and I can't do this anymore, right? And so what ended up happening with Miel was that we worked through this process of listening to what's actually going on for me rather than the stuff that I was making up, right? And so flash forward, here I am, 50, and I have been running so much, so fast. I can't even pay attention to what's actually going on in my body. I've made up stories that'll just keep me going. I had this moment with Miel where I said to her, I said, I live in a body. And she's like, yeah. No, I live in a body. She's like, yeah, Tina, you live in a body. Like, oh my God, I live in a body. I had no idea. Now that was at 45, right? So then I got cancer and I learned the whole thing about I live in a body. Guess what? Guess what? You live in a body. So you better slow down. But flash forward to 50 and I did, oh my God, like a long distance run and a sprint to the finish line. I actually start every month, or I have, not so much anymore. It's getting better. I would start every month with a finish line. I would start every day with a finish line. I would start every week with a finish line. I would go to bed. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I called my bestie, Nicole, and I said, you know what? You know what I want moving forward? It has more to do with what I don't want than what I want right now. I said, I don't want to go to bed anymore and measure my day based on whether or not I mattered. The interesting thing about me is I don't have the enough story. If you've done any core story work with me, I don't have that. I don't measure, am I full enough? Did I give enough? Am I worthy enough? I don't have any of that. I actually have this thing, like if I don't check enough things off my list, then I don't have any proof that I matter here. Like maybe I wasn't here, which is like, what? What the hell is that? I'll tell you what that is. That's long distance run, sprint to the finish line. Long distance run, sprint to the finish line. That is a life built on movement. A life built on do I matter? Oh my God. So the gift of the athlete, after I finished, oh my God, and I was wiped. I totally understand that when I'm immersed in something, I love that I have long distance run, sprint to the finish line inside of me because I can hold an altered reality for a reality distortion field, to quote Steve Jobs. I can hold a reality distortion field for a long time and get a lot of amazing things done. I think we hold reality distortion fields with our positivity. Toxic positivity is just as bad, if you will, just as toxic as toxic achievement. Ugh. However, when we have to hold the reality distortion field to get something done because we want to get that thing done, it happens. But then after it happens, what are the next steps? I sprint to the finish line, consciously close. I crossed that finish line. Rest. Is there anything broken? Is there anything bruised? Did anything come out of this damage that needs to be repaired? Restore. Even as I close this year, I have carried guilt, embarrassment about coming out of the gate so strong, finishing, oh my God, releasing it in April, working with the big story of the 215 Indigenous children that were found outside the Kamloops residential school, and letting that in when my show is about the 796 Irish children that were found buried outside a mother and baby home. I didn't write that show with the knowledge of the Indigenous children in Canada. And I had to reconcile these two stories as a Canadian launching a story about Ireland. After that, on May 27th, I did nothing with Oh My God, except a couple of things that you're supposed to do, a couple producery things that you did, that you do, that I did. And it's only now, it's the end of the year. It's only now, June, July, August, September, October, November, 7 months later, that I'm restored enough that I'm ready to run again. I'm ready to run, to get into the long distance run and race to the finish line. So for me, the gift is I live in a body. That clue started when I was 45 to now, which is this body needs to rest. And not only does this body need to rest, this creative alchemic fire of mine deserves rest in order to restore, in order to open up new coals for new flames to come. And if I don't do that, not only is my body going to suffer, but so is my art. Thanks for being here. This is your 11th night, my 11th night. This is the gift of the athlete, the 8 steps. I went from 2 to 8. Okay, that's a lot. That's a big practice for me. Thanks for being here and thanks for listening. I hope I offered you a little something tonight. Feels a bit more linear, a little different than what I'm used to doing. But I hope it nourishes you. All right, I'm Tina O from Tina O Life. We will see you tomorrow night for night 12 of 25, almost halfway to 50. 51. Well, close at 50. All right.